Now that people are finishing up the story of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it's become sort of universally agreed upon that Geeta is not a very good champion. So I figured I would look at her team, what's wrong with it, and try to fix it using some my basic knowledge of Pokemon singles gameplay. So, starting off, I actually like Espathra. It's probably the best part of her team. Opportunist is a great ability. When I first played through the game, I led with a Quiver Dance Frostmoth, which then absolutely got nuked by Dazzling Gleam, which was powered up by the Opportunist boosts. It's a really great lead, but except the fact that it has Quick Attack, I mean, that's kinda weird. But otherwise, Lumina Crash and Dazzling Gleam provide some good coverage, and Reflect is good as a lead to set up, especially when she has a setup sweeper, Go-Goat, behind it. However, I don't really like Go-Goat. It's kind of meh. Its stats aren't great, and its moveset isn't much better. I mean, I guess that Play Rough gives coverage to over bug types, but otherwise, it's not really going to be getting that many bulk ups up, even under Reflect, and Zen Headbutt just does nothing for it. Veluza is where the team really starts to fall apart. Like Aqua Jet is base power 40 and Ice Fang is base power 65. It's just not powerful. Veluza you fight in like the fourth gym and it's not even the ace. Its stat total is like really low. What is it? 478. Yeah, not very good. And it's got a surprisingly low speed, and it doesn't even have its signature move Fillet Away, which could be because it's difficult for AI to use HP cutting moves, but Veluza just isn't threatening whatsoever. Avalugg could be tough, except for the fact that it's Avalugg, a defensive ice type, which defensive ice types are pretty much always bad. Um, it doesn't have Iron Defense, which it could have used to take advantage of Body Press. But otherwise, Earthquake is good coverage for ground types, and Avalanche is, I guess, an okay stab move. Um, but otherwise, it just gets destroyed by Skeledirge. King Gambit could be cool if it was her final Pokemon. You know, Geeta is supposedly the champion of champions, and King Gambit sort of represents that. The fact that you have to knock out multiple Bisharp in order to evolve your Bisharp into a King Gambit. Um, yeah, and its moveset is okay. And then Glamora is really just the saddest part of the team. The fact that it has Toxic Debris but doesn't lead, like why the heck are you setting up Toxic Spikes in the beginning of the match? So, some of the obvious changes would be Glamora goes first, King Gambit goes last, and then Go-Go, Veluza, and Avalugg just kind of have to go. So when I changed the team, I wanted to keep the typings and sort of theming of the team intact, but I wanted to up the stakes a little bit, up the intensity of the fight by giving it a consistent theme, which you'll see in a minute, as well as synergy between her team members. So obviously Glamora is the lead. It's going to set up Toxic Debris and Stealth Rock with a Focus Sash to set up 2 stacks of Toxic Spikes. And then Reflect, because her Espathra had Reflect. And then Sludge Bomb and Energy Ball. Energy Ball for coverage because you're probably going to be attacked by a ground type, so Energy Ball is really just a natural choice. Sludge Bomb for primary stab. And then I really, really wanted to keep Espathra. So Espathra is actually going to become a speed boost setup sweeper with Calm Mind and Protect to stack up speed boosts. It's got leftovers for passive healing, as well as Protect to continue that healing. Lumina Crash and Dazzling Gleam because I think that that combination is still fairly threatening. I could have used Stored Power as its move, but I wanted to keep its signature move Lumina Crash. Alright, so Amoonguss. This one's probably the weird pick out of all of them. I wanted to have a defensive Pokemon, and Amoonguss's fantastic mixed bulk is what's really going to provide a good pivot for Palafin, which I'll get to later. Amoonguss gets Venoshock to take advantage of Toxic Spikes, Foul Play for coverage because its own attack stat is pretty bad, Giga Drain for longevity, and Spore because you can't have Amoonguss without Spore. It's got Iapapa Berry for more healing, and Amoonguss's job is to stay on the field as long as possible and get a switch in for Palafin. So this is a choice Scarf Palafin because it wants to outspeed anything that it can, even EV for maximum speed. I'm not so sure how EVs would work in the game, but Palafin is a fast boy. So this, it would be Flip Turn to take advantage of its ability, Wave Crash for a massively powerful primary stab, Drain Punch to give it some healing, as well as to take out Dark types, and Ice Punch to take out Grass types. Obviously, its ability is 0 to Hero, that's the only ability it can have. Palafin's really just supposed to power through the opponent as much as possible. I could have given it Close Combat instead of Drain Punch, and that honestly might probably work better with Choice, but I decided to use Drain Punch instead of Close Combat because to make it at least a little bit fair. Palafin is going to try to switch out every time it sees like an electric or an electric type move incoming into Amoonguss because it resists electric. I'm pretty sure Glass resists electric at least. And Amoonguss can switch into Palafin if it sees a fire or ice type move incoming. And then Weavile. I switched out Weavile for Avalugg because it's fast and strong, and it's got a Choppleberry to resist that 4-time super effective fighting. I could have given it a Focus Sash, but Glamora's already got the Focus Sash, and it's got Brick Break, Poison Jab, Icicle Crash, and Night Slash. Poison Jab might seem like a little bit of a strange choice, but as you can see, I'm actually theming Geeta's team around the Poison type, because there's no Poison type Terrastalize user in the game, given that the Poison type specialist is the Car to Team Star, and Revavroom doesn't get to use Terra. This is a pretty basic set. Brick Break to hit Steel types, Poison Jab for the poison theming, Icicle Crash for primary stab, and Night Slash for its secondary stab. Having a fast flincher is going to be really tricky to take out, and Weavile's stats are kind of insane, and even though it doesn't have insane moves anymore like Knockoff or Triple Axle, it's still fairly threatening. Obviously, the last Pokemon is King Gambit. King Gambit's got an Assault Vest for longevity, and its moves are Kowtow Cleave, Poison Jab, Sucker Punch, and Iron Head. It doesn't have anything to really take out fighting types, but that's because it is Terra Poison. I know Terra Blast Flying is technically meta, but I wanted to make Geeta's team at least somewhat poison type themed. Kind of like how Alder is a sort of a bug type theme and Iris is a dragon leader, even though both of them only have 3 their primary type on their team. So King Gambit is going to take advantage of that massive 50% extra power to fire off super effective sucker punches against the psychic types that threaten its poison typing. And then Iron Head for, another stab move, Poison Jab. I could have gone Terra Blast here, but Poison Jab is just strictly better, considering that Terra Blast doesn't have a chance to poison, and it's still 80 power. And then Kowtow Cleave, because that's its signature move. So yeah, what did you think of my team overall? I think it's a much better team than Geeta. There were several Pokemon that didn't make the team that I sort of wanted to include. That would be, I think, Ceruledge, Armarouge, Paldean Tauros, Dondozo, Goldengo, Arboliva, but for one reason or another, I picked these Pokemon instead. Alright,